All right, so I recorded like half of this uh earlier, or I did half the audio earlier and then got interrupted halfway through by my friends who need like an emergency sub for their scrim. So I'm gonna run through this first half a little fast, but yeah. So what I remember talking about here was like this was fine. It just said uh when you're going aggressive, um you want to burn all your cooldowns and resources, or you want to like use your cooldowns resources to get as much as you can. But if you don't get what you want initially, right? So like you burn the lamp, right? That's fine. You did a lot of damage. You're halfway to your ult already, right? So we get another equivalent trade, you'll have your ult, and then you can use it. Um, and but like you want to be careful overusing stuff at the tail end of the fight because the more you burn, um, in the at the end of a fight or in like say like the intermediate period in between fights, right? Like right now, for example, right? The more you burn now, the later you can start your next fight, right? So it's kind of like when you're playing Rein and you're trading with an enemy Rein, uh, or you're playing Monkey and you like burn like you jump in, use your bubble, and we talked about how you don't actually want to take a lot of HP damage. You kind of want to get out before your bubble even really breaks. It's like that same concept because if you take damage, that takes tension away from that takes attention from your healer, and it takes time, right? And ammo and resources, like we kind of think about healing resources like as kind of indefinite most of the time, unless it's Moira. But in reality, like it takes time, and time is a resource, right? And it takes attention, and attention is also a resource. So your Ana can't be looking to snipe, for example. She can't be looking to throw nades. Bap's a little awkward because he can kind of do both, right? But in most cases, right, time from and attention from your healers is a resource. So you don't want to use it too much, especially when you're going to need the HP in a little bit because like you can't fight without full HP and full shield, right? It's just very hard. And if you're going to take this fight now, um, you want to be saving. If you're going to take the fight in a couple seconds, which is very likely, right? You need to save as much shield HP as you can right now. And the problem here is you walk out, you shield, you walk out again, you're still taking damage, right? And the fight starts, and like um the fight starts, and you straight up like just didn't get any ability to like you had nothing like you burned yourself dry before you even got there, right? So be really careful about saving resources when you can when you're not actively fighting. So as Ryan, there's a very like in Brawl Mirrors in particular, there's a very like push and pull element, right? So you push and then use all your stuff and then you back out, right? It's no longer your turn. You wait for your turn, and then you play patiently until until your team has like got their cooldowns back. We talked about this in VOD review as well. Until you have the wall. Not even necessarily the wall sometimes because the wall can come up a little bit later and it's fine. But definitely the bubbles, right? Definitely you need your HP and your shields. And maybe like amp, right? And then you go, right? I was getting you full. Oh, thanks. Um, but yeah, be very mindful about like like wasting resources like between like the individual pushes, right? I need to blow my nose 1 sec. Yeah, we're one follow away, Matt, from 50. Then we can have channel points. I remember being super confused on what they were doing here. Also, never forget as Ryan, you can like hit the lamp and your target at the same time, right? And that's just really nice to do, be able to do. So I mean, right there, shielding the bastion's fine, but just keep in mind that like if there's a lamp up and you're in position to hit it, like that's kind of your job because you can put out regular damage, right? As long as you're in a position where you want to swing anyways, right? You can hit the lamp and that at the same time as long as you manipulate the hitbox. So I like this drop, especially identifying a squishy. Instead of dropping to the right as well, I drop straight forward and try to get on the bat. But like this general concept of like running towards the back line is great. Good pin. Again, like we talked about, like always target like the edge, the side they're going to run towards. And just like if you get in front of them, it doesn't matter. And if you land on them, like you kill them. So this is good push. Don't be afraid to burn as much shield here as you need to, because this fight is over, right? You guys won this fight, so there's no concern about needing another fight, right? So at this point, you just need to put your shield up, right? You can burn as much shield as you want, helping your team like get kills as long as you don't die for it, right? We're chilling. Wait, this guy's name is Ana. I just realized. This is my second time watching this game. Yeah, so don't be afraid to burn shield there. There's no fight. You guys just killed someone, right? And every kill you get delays the fight even further. All right, so I talked about this briefly as well last time, but the timing on this could be slightly better. Again, you want the Fire Strike to be leaving as the window comes up, and because you're doing the 3-2-1, you have total control over this. Because like when you go 3-2-1, um, at the end of one, your map is going to put the window up, right? So you can afford to go a little bit early, right? But this is a little bit too late because now they know this Fire Strike's threatening instead of it just feeling like a normal Fire Strike up until it's about to hit them, right? So this is slightly too late or, on the Fire Strike. But that said, this is a lot better than how it used to be. So it's okay. But timing wise, it could be better. I really like this in general, like how you like push the angle first, right? And you don't push into the concave. Like this is really good. That said, target this guy and not this guy. Although just generally attacking the very edge of the concave is always better. So that's still fine. Now you're just living. Oh, that's awkward. Yeah, this is good, right? Pushing this. Just be careful about like the way you push it, because like you kind of pushed it while like go you kind of push this side while swinging on the Rein, and then realize, oh, McCree's over here, right? So like when you push this, I want this to be with the intention of like going for the McCree in the first place, because the McCree flashes your May, like you guys are in a little bit of trouble. Yeah, this focus is good though. This McCree, like, he kind of messed up, right? And again, don't run at this Rein, right? Run at the angle, right? And run for the back line. So instead of like you threw the Fire Strike, that was really good, and you hit a lot of people, right? But once you hit that Fire Strike, keep walking at them. Don't walk at the Rein, right? You can hit the Rein as you're passing by him, right? But you don't actually need to chase him, run him down in particular.
No one can hide from my sight.
All right, his shield is breaking, so you can like, if you see a shield this low and you know you have shatter, like normally I tell people not to worry about like shatter, like calling shatter so much, but this is a very easy shatter to get. They're back, like this team has no idea how to position, and then on top of that, the Rein shield is cracking by the time they get here, right? And their bubble just broke, so they have no bubbles, no shield, and they're all stacked, right? So at this point, you tell your team to aggressively push with like a 3-2-1 speed or something. You just push into them, use your cooldowns, make this Rein shield, break a shield, then go for your free shatter, right? This is a situation that you absolutely can control with shatter, right? And learning to identify this is pretty important, because normally shatter is kind of like a reaction based thing. You don't always get the opportunity, right? But this is like they're giving it to you, right? Like, so just call for the resources you need to get your free shatter. And also, yeah, don't overstack these. Like, it's good that you get the shatter, but it could have been even more guaranteed because this Rein could have outplayed you, right? And then you wouldn't have need to burn grab as well if you were already calling for the shatter. Good shatter though. I had to give up on the Ana Bat.
30 seconds remaining.
Overall, really good usage of like playing the corner. This game's a full hold, of course it is. You want me to remind me full holds, but it's good holding the corner, right? But at some point, if you want to take a fight, you want to go wide, right? So you ended up going wide eventually, right? But just keep in mind that when you uh either you're holding corner and your Zarya is going wide, or you're going wide and your Zarya is holding corner, right? And you need to communicate this and figure out what you want to do, right? In the majority of cases, if you're not sure, like I don't think Tito's like probably in a position where he can like manage this stuff himself right now, in terms of like off angling and stuff like that. So as a general rule, if you want to start a fight, right? So if you're just trying to hold the corner, right? You want Tito to play wide and you just hold the corner. But if you want to start a fight, which is most of the time with this kind of comp, right? Like they're running double poke, we're running mate, right? So we're much more aggressive of a lineup right here, even though we have a widow, right? So in that's the case, right? You want to go as wide as you can, and unless they have shatter, right? If they have shatter, like It's kind of sketch. So maybe that was your plan. You only went wide when the Rein pushed you, and then you could like pin him. So if you are, like, kudos, you're a better Rein than me. But um, that's something you want to like emphasize is like going wide when you're trying to start a fight, right? Anyways, why are you out here sending me the full holds? Side note, you guys kept defaulting to holding this corner, and that's fine. But just keep in mind that like as long as they can't get behind you to get to the cart, you can actually still keep holding their spawn once you win the fight. If you win the fight decisively enough and you can chase them to their spawn, you can actually just hold their spawn again. The only thing you have to watch out for is Lucio going cart, but then Lucio can go back and just stall it out, and Lucio will never kill another Lucio, so they just like fight each other in cart while you take your 5v5, right? Alright, hurry up. Alright, so we opt to go this door. Everybody's here, Gabe is flanking, this is okay. Generally speaking, I prefer like us going this way. I think we talked about this, so. This is really good though. When you want to start a fight, right, you go wide, right? This is really good. You create a lot of space for your team just by doing this. That was really good. Keep in mind if your team wants to rotate this way, be much more decisive. Like I know you're going wide, and I thought you were taking a fight. But if your team is trying to rotate back around, be really vocal about that so Zarya doesn't get stuck, right? Zarya kind of got stuck here, and then like it forced a lamp in order to save her instead of just using your shield. Right? And not having a lamp here is kind of a big deal because it limits how aggressive you can be. Didn't end up mattering, but like. I don't know. Remember, like, just in general, you want to control the wide side more than the close side, right? Unless your only goal is to keep them going up the stairs. But if you go wide, you're actually kind of more threatening for the stairs anyways, because you can like walk in and cut them off, right? So like ideally your Zarya's here, right, and playing an angle, right, playing cover, right. But as a general rule, right, you're not super afraid of them going up to the high ground, right? Um, and if you are, you can as long as your Zarya's out here, then you can play this spot. But again, you don't want to play stacked with your Zarya, right? And right now, Tito's maybe not the best at this. So like, and again, if you want to start fights, you want to play wide. Like just get the angle advantage on them, and then make them do something about it, right? They're feeling scared anyways, but do you see how like you guys ended up in a corner, right? And they're now going wide on you. This is what you want to avoid, right? Yeah, and now like not only you're blind to the push, right? If you look, like a pretty big concave, and now they're pushing into our choke, so maybe Fush turns us with the wall, right? But our setup is not good, right? We're sort of baiting them to a hopefully a bad fight, but there's no actual like solid setup making this easy for us. And there's a solid chance you just die here. All right, get the clutch lamp, the clutch bubble. But yeah, see, like the reason why this window doesn't kill anything, right? This whatever the case may be with your fire strike, the reason this window doesn't kill anything, right, is because this is how much it sees, right? There's no one over here, right, shooting them from hiding for you, right? So imagine, right, we take this fight here and our widow's over here, right? So if that's our plan, right, I have to put our widow here, right? And then when this fight happens, she just pops out over here and takes her free shots, and she gets at least 2 to 3 free shots here, right? If that's our plan, that's a different story. But we have no one who can abuse the angle, right? Like no Zarya sitting right here, nothing, right? We have no one abusing this angle, so this window doesn't kill anyone, right? So that's something to keep in mind, right? Again, like we're not setting ourselves up for success with angles, right? And you can control this by like telling people where to stand relative to you, or at least communicating where you're going to be, right? So your teammates can set up around that, or in specific circumstances, call where you want to fight and tell someone to take a different angle, right? So if you want to fight here, right? On this corner, right? As you like were, because you stood here and then you backed out over here. So you've been here for a while, right? So tell Gabe, or whoever has a good like angle pressure to go sit over here, right? And know that they're going to get free pressure when the fight develops here, right? be really vocal on this stuff because like you dictate a lot of where the fight happens, and if you can be decisive on this early enough, right, you can set up crossfires for yourself and make your own life really easy, right? As opposed to Gabe being up here, not doing much, and then getting pushed up the stairs by a Lucio, right? Which is what we're trying to avoid. Yeah, this is good, right? So when we push, you go wide, right? Why didn't we do this earlier? Bin. Be patient with Shatter as well. You don't need it at all. Nice Fire Strike.
No one can hide from my sight.
Oh! Rip Sigma. A bit of indecisiveness there. You probably could have gotten at least 1 to 2 more kills if you're just more aggressive. You had your BAP there with the lamp, right? And once you got bailed out by the lamp and the bubble, right, you can still go more aggressive. And once you get enough health, and you only need a couple hundred, right? They didn't have a lot of damage there. It was kind of just the Mei, the BAP, and the Rein, right? And none of those people have burst damage. As long as you don't get frozen, right, you're allowed to swing. Alright, I like this contest of high ground. Help Boosh Cross though, like don't let him die. Pretty scary. This Lucio's feeding. Nice pin. This is the Rein life, by the way. But like, also again, like, look at your health, right? You got beat, so when you landed, you are still full health, right? You can still go aggressive, right? These guys are low, right? So just keep that in mind, right? You don't always have to like. It's very easy getting heuristics of like, teams like I got ulted by this, so I will play passive, or like I get X number of swings before I back up, right? Just like look at the situation, and be like, do I actually need to stop? And if the answer is no, you just keep going. You just keep beating him up. Make sure you have someone on cart during this, right? Just yell at someone to get on cart, even if it's not gonna be you.
No one can hide from my sight.
Oh, that bubble's terrible. It's on you though. Alright, got the window out. Nice. Surprise shatter? Flank shatter? Aww. Alright, so this is a complicated situation, right? There's a lot of stuff happening. You see these people rotating away, and you see people pushing this side of the map. So what do, right? The answer is like kind of difficult to answer because it's a team decision, right? Whatever the team decides to do, right, is probably okay, right? As long as it makes somewhat sense. But like again, you have a lot of control over this, and you can just decide what the team does at any given time, right? So you can opt to chase, right? You can just like literally like get a bubble and just like pin over here, and you could have gotten more aggressive. Honestly, once they're hiding from the window, you could actually just run around the corner and gone for a pin or gone for something aggressive and try to force something and then chatter and gun for kills, right? Or you can just be like, okay, I'm gonna drop. I'm gonna go hit the backline, who I know is gonna be in this general area, right? And I'm not gonna be afraid of these people. Or right, you go back, right? You push cart, right, and tell your team to like these guys to back up and play around you, right? So then that way you're setting up a big angle, so you're playing defense instead of offense, right? There's a bunch of things you can do, right? But whatever happens, just like you need to make a decision right now, in this moment, in this frame, basically, you need to make a decision and you need to call it. Somebody needs to. And again, like you're generally well placed to do this. So it doesn't really matter what you do as a team, right? But you need to call it. Let's see what happens. Okay, you go cart. Your team is backing up around you, right? So this is the most simple one to do, right? As long as everyone doesn't, like, people execute and don't die here, like, we're chilling. This is pretty good. This is... Ooh. Well, this is kind of sketch. Oh boy. Yeah, so remember, right? Remember, as long as your team rotated and didn't die, you don't have to get aggressive anymore, right? So either you get really aggressive and try to cut off the rotate from the enemy team going out from like this door and this door to over here, right? You try to cut that off by getting really aggressive and early on, and that way you force these guys to turn around and reconverge on you, and that opens space for your backline to do things on the other side of the map, right? Or right, you play cart, and make them come back to you while your team sets up high ground crossfires, right? But going to them after you give them time to rotate is very, very scary. Oh, side note, there's a tech for Rein where you just hold spacebar at the end of your charge and you'll do like a B hop at the end and gain some bonus distance because you'll still have momentum from your charge.
My ultimate is almost ready.
Wait, what? Oh my god, not again. I mean, Pin would have been okay there as well, actually. But yeah, Shatter's also really good. This grab is really unfortunate, but. Alright, just go cart now. Make sure you clear angles though, right? So instead of going this, okay, so I don't think you should go this way, but you should have teammates going this way, right? And then you want to get to cart as fast as possible, more or less, I think. Just because like you killed them so recently that if you go cart right now, you probably cap. That said, if you killed them a little bit later, right? Say you killed them like here or something, right? All the way back here, and then you had to walk out or something. It would probably be better to go this way, right? And have like your Lucio or something get a cart as fast as you can, and that way you're still playing cart pressure, but you're clearing the angles first, right? In this case, though, you can just run the cart, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this is good overall, though, right? You don't want your squishies doing this. So, like, if if Tito's going to go cart, this is something you need to do, right? Tito should be doing this, so. Okay, I hope you called that. Okay, you probably did. And then he gave up anyway, so it didn't matter. Okay. This aggression's a little risky. Mostly because, like, again, just look at the map terrain, right? You guys are chasing down a hallway, right? And you're probably not, you're not giving your team time to set up like angles on this side of the map, right? And also in particular, this is where Gabe is, right? Like your team just capped, so chasing out here is kind of hard because you know that you also know they're fully regrouped, right? If this was like 3 people, chasing them would be fine, and getting shattered wouldn't be the end of the world, right? But this is 5 to 6, right? I don't know. Okay, this is 5. So 5 is really sketch to be chasing like this, right? This is a lot of people. It's unlucky they got shattered as well. Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate, but. It was just kind of a bad fight because like you chased into a hallway against like with equal numbers essentially. So you gave up a lot of like you didn't really have an advantage there despite the fact that you're playing like it, right? And now they're spending oh god, the spawn camp. This is awful. I want to see how you approach this actually. We just run into them, that's fine. We just need to get a kill here, so. Shatter? Big shatter. Nice. Just remember that in general, you don't want to run at the tanks very much. So if like the Rein and D.Va are just holding here, just like literally just speed through here, right? Shield team as they come out, right? Fight the Rein if you need to, and then try to push your team up onto this high ground, right? Because this is where the soldier was playing, right? So you push the soldier out, then you win the fight by default, right? Hopefully, I mean, hopefully he dies. You don't have to kill him, but hopefully he dies. And then like, because with speed, your team should be able to run him down, right? And then kill him, right? And once you have control, right, then you start leveraging control to like force these tanks out, right? But again, you want to push a side of the concave, not the middle of the concave. This worked because like you wedged yourself in like this corner, right? And the wall was really good. So like this team isn't running Mei, which makes our life a lot easier in certain ways. And again, right, like we walled, you wedged yourself in a corner, you didn't die, and you found a good flank shatter because this Rein is dumb. But like, so you played the situation you were in well, right? But you didn't need to be in the situation in the first place. You could have just like pushed here, gotten speed at this point, right? And then your Lucio Zarya just runs over the soldier while you just like hold the ground, or just run after the soldier if you don't care. With speed, kill him, right? Then drop and put more leverage back on the cart, right? They deal with the side of the concave first, because if you look like they had an Ashe all the way out here, right? So this is like one really big concave, right? So deal with the side of the concave first, then deal with the center, right? Rip. They're beating. What the? Nice beat, bro. Nice block. Oh, what the? Gabe went flying. It's a big beat. Yeah, but you see how difficult that spawn camp was to break, right? That's a purely result of getting over aggressive here, right? So that's kind of on you. Like the team getting shattered here, like isn't the end of the world typically if like they don't have enough to follow up to like really kill you guys and then fully set up here. But they're 5 in the air, so the moment they kill you, they just all set up in your spawn, right? And spawn camp and breaking the spawn camp is like really hard. They don't even need to be here, right? They can actually just put their Rein here, or even here, right? And that's so hard to deal with, right? Because like how are you supposed to break out? Because you have these two doors. Blizzard has very great spawn design, by the way. Um, Nice. Nice. Oh, okay. I guess we just win here. So, kind of awkward that this VOD was us running them over. In ideal world, um, it's a little bit of a closer game maybe. But that said, like a lot of good things, but uh, a lot of like um you had some issues like attacking like concaves, right? So just make sure like you attack the edge of the concave whenever possible. If you're going to attack the middle of the concave, it needs to be incredibly fast and with ultimates, right? Um, it needs to be like kind of like you pretending to go one thing, well, pretending to like even like look at one of the flanks so that like they start backing out preemptively, and then you just speed and run straight into the mass, right? And then like you blizzard or something or you grab. But it's very difficult to do that. In most cases. So in generally speaking, it's way more consistent to attack the edges. Um, what else? A lot of team related stuff there. It's kind of awkward because main tank reviews for in scrims are really just like team reviews, which is why like the team reviews are oftentimes end up being main tank reviews. um, but yeah. So if possible, next time submit like a maybe a closer game, um, or just like a random ranked game that like you felt like you played pretty well in, but like still lost or I don't know, it was kind of close, I guess. As long as it's not like a blowout, right? If there's full holds, it's probably a blowout. um, Now if we got full held in return, maybe, right? But yeah. And also remember to set up concaves. Tito's really not like probably confident uh, enough in like where to stand in order to like what he does is oftentimes based around what you're doing, right? So good concaves and good like fight structure need to start with you, right? So you need to be very consistent on that. And I know it's a lot of pressure and maybe a little unfair, but like I believe you can do it. So yeah, if you get to this part in the video, DM me what 12 times 4 equals, and I hope this was pretty helpful.